Alright guys, just going to do a quick video on making my KLR more comfortable on the highway. I tried to film me putting all the parts on and there was a crack on my lens, so I lost all that footage. But this is my first time filming since the start of the year. Last few videos I've been uploading have just been what I had stacked up. So I'm just going to go over real quick what I installed. First thing being is the fork brace and the front fender here. Try to get a side view of it. So just something a lot smaller. The stock one obviously kind of sits up here. Supposedly it collects a bunch of wind. It affects your aerodynamics. So I went ahead and just tried the small fender. I don't really like the way it fits, but I don't know. When you stand back, it kind of looks good. When you get close to it, I don't know. Kind of just don't like how that fits. I've seen a few guys on the groups online have ones that actually match perfectly with the OEM body line. So maybe I'll try one of those, but for now, this is what I got. It was like a $19 UFO front fender. And then you can see down here, I got the front fork brace. Now there's like more expensive ones. I don't know. I got this cheap one from Amazon. I don't really see how they're different. Now the thing is with these is they supposedly collect like dirt like behind your boot here, and supposedly like your fork seals can wear out faster. I don't know about that. Putting this on, I really don't see how that's possible, but we'll see. Maybe somebody who understands it better than I do can explain for me, but I don't know. I like looked at how it's kind of designed. It doesn't really make sense on how dirt would collect in there, especially if the boot's over here, because it's not going to get, maybe if it can kind of get in between those cracks, but I don't know. I don't really see that being a problem. And then I just use some hose clamps to hold the boots on. Some people use zip ties. I didn't really like the way that looked. I think like when you kind of look from the front, it looks a little bit more OEM. One thing I don't like is how this is all exposed here. I think like a 3D printed part that kind of just covers this all up and protects it would be nice. The other thing I got to figure out as well is the front brake line here. Kind of just flops around. Doesn't seem like it's going to be affected while riding. I actually have rode a few times with this setup, but just to work and back, and that's like a couple blocks. So I haven't really truly experienced like what it feels like to drive this. So we'll see, but I have to kind of figure out something. Might try to see if I have like some brake line holders from other bikes that I could try to like rig up onto here to kind of like hold it like this, but for now, it's fine. It's not going to hit anything. This shield stops it from going near the tire, so we should be all right. The other thing, which you really can't see, but I put a 16-tooth front sprocket on here. So far, with just doing like commuting in town, haven't really noticed much of a difference. It rides just fine. You do have to slip the clutch quite a bit more, and I actually have been noticing it's been a little bit more challenging doing low speed maneuvers, especially with having your handlebars fully turned one direction and trying to make a turn like that. So, but I mean, I'll figure it out. It just got to take a little bit of time. I haven't rode with it a whole lot, so we'll see. And then two more things I did is I installed this exhaust here. This is the Delkevic 18-inch. A lot of people don't like this one because of how massive it is, and I kind of agree. It's a little ridiculous how far it sticks out. I mean, I don't know, that's kind of crazy. But my whole thing is how quiet it was while still like being louder than stock and better looking. Kind of sold me on it. I didn't really want to get something too loud. You know, this is like a bike I ride on trails, on the street. I want to be comfortable and be able to hear nature and not just be obnoxious in general. So this should be just fine. I'm gonna play a clip real quick of just what it sounds like compared to the stock exhaust. So as you can see, it's not that loud. And of course, you're gonna see here in a minute once I get out on the street how it sounds riding around. The other thing is, and last thing is, which is behind here, but essentially I just did the snorkel delete and installed a uni air filter. So it does actually make the intake sound pretty good. I actually did it before I did the exhaust. Took it for a spin, and like when you do wide open throttle, it actually sounds a lot different. You get that like deep tone from the intake. Just doing a few like rips, just quick acceleration, it does feel faster. But we'll get into that a little bit more once we get on the street and I can really feel it when I really open it up. All right, so we're out here on the road, just waiting for the light to turn green. And of course, as soon as I get on the highway, it's gonna be construction, so we won't be able to go too crazy, but once I get past it, we'll be able to open it up. Really, I just want to see how it feels at like 70 miles per hour. I'm not really too worried about anything higher than that. I don't see myself really cruising that high speeds. Alright, so we'll do like the first little rip here. So you gotta remember, we have that 16T Sprocket on here now, so I mean, just like that, 45. I don't know if it's construction speed limit, but I'm just gonna go that slow, around 45. But I mean, it still accelerates just fine. Now, like personally, I have noticed that, I don't know, like everybody says like, oh, your sprocket, you know, is gonna slow down your bike, and like, yeah, it will. I mean, you're making the gear ratio taller. But in my like personal opinion, like a lot of the times it seems to make a bike a lot faster because you're maintaining a better power band. I don't know if there's any truth behind that or if it's just a feeling thing, but I personally feel like this thing is faster with the 16T Sprocket. Now, like I said a little bit ago, like of course it's gonna be a little bit different when you're doing low speed maneuvers. That's really where you feel the difference on a bigger sprocket. But I wish I had a tachometer, but I mean, just feeling right now like 50 miles per hour, 5th gear, pretty low RPM. You can probably hear how low it is. I think this makes such a massive difference. Now, I have drove it a little bit with the sprocket when I first did it. I took it on some like windy roads. It's fantastic on there. I can definitely see, like, if you're doing a lot of trail riding, and I'm talking like pretty technical trails, I can see it being a problem. But for the most part, I think what most people use their KLRs for, I think this is probably going to be fine. So we can open it up a little bit. I'm going to put her in 4th, then 3rd, and just... Oh, dude, I mean, look at that. 75. Comfortable. 70. Dude, this is, like, completely different. I don't even know. Nah, we're in 5th. Wasn't paying attention. But especially like 65, if you're somewhere where you're just cruising 65, completely changes this bike. Now this is going to be kind of like phase 1 of making this thing better for long distance driving or highway cruising, whatever. The thing is, I'm not trying to make this an interstate bike, but I would like to kind of find a good middle ground on where if I need to hop on an interstate, I can for an extended period of time. Because the first trip I did on this, I had to hop on the interstate for 2.5 hours, and it was miserable. But if I had a setup like this, it would have been completely different. I mean, you can really feel the difference with that fork brace and that front fender. And it is kind of a windy day also. It's not crazy. We get a lot worse. And I'm also kind of in the valley.
so a lot of that wind is shielded. I'll really get a feel for how it handles the, you know, like heavy headwinds if I get up on the hills or go further out west a little bit where it's more flat. But in the future, I'd like to try the JD jetting tuner. I don't know, I'm skeptical about those, but I'd like to give it a shot. If I understand what people are saying correctly, it does kind of correct the fueling, and so when you let off the gas, it isn't like you're hitting your brakes, because that gets kind of annoying. But I do have to say, I'm pretty shocked at the difference in performance from the muffler and the snorkel delete / unifilter install. I'm usually pretty skeptical, I mean, on most things really, but mainly like on stuff where they're like, oh, it's gonna add more power. I don't know, I don't buy into that too much. I know the bike from the factory, you know, like the ECU can adjust fueling to some capacity, but I mean, if I'm doing an intake and exhaust, is it really gonna do that much of a difference? I don't know. But it does feel different. I mean, it does feel faster. But yeah, I do think it feels quite a bit faster. And also, you can get some pretty cool pops with the exhaust. Let me see if I can do it here. Yeah. You can get some cool little backfires here and there. But we'll do a little bit of low speed cruising. If you just kind of want to see how this sprocket holds up to driving through towns or whatever, because like I said, that's really where the downside's at. I thought it would be more like accelerating would be the problem, and I'm talking like merging on the highway acceleration. But I think it makes cruising low speeds pretty comfortable, because here I am in second gear, just kind of chugging along real low RPM. When you keep those RPMs lower at low speeds, you don't have that jerkiness when you let off the gas of just... So even in scenarios like this, I still think the 16T Sprocket is better. The only downside I can really figure out still is just low speed maneuvering, and probably especially on trails. But later this summer we'll see how it survives on the PABDR. So we'll see how it handles merging here again. Try to let some cars get by so I don't have to slow down at any point. I mean, still accelerates just fine. Now we're actually kind of going against the wind here, heading south, and I don't really feel like I'm being pushed around. And I'm really interested to see how this all pairs up with a set of tires. Been looking at the Shinko 705s. But that's why, like, this is kind of like phase one of making this thing more comfortable on the street. So there'll be another video in the future where I'll put some more mods on, try it out, and we'll see how it handles it.
Alright, so that pretty much wraps it up. So if you've been thinking about doing the front fender with the fork brace, and maybe even the bigger front sprocket, I would personally recommend it if you do a lot of street driving, especially if you also want to do an intake and exhaust. I think all of those paired together has made a huge difference. And I know I said this throughout the video, but I just want to give her a few things I'm going to be doing in the future. And that's going to be heavier fork oil in the front, potentially messing around with the rear sprocket. We'll see about that one. That one's not 100%. We'll also be doing different tire setup. Try to get something that's a little bit more towards the middle of street and trail riding. these are okay in the street, but I just want to give something else a shot. Especially whenever these, I'm going to ride these ones out. I'm not going to change them prematurely. I'm going to get my mileage out of them first, or at least most of it. And then pretty much for the most part, that's, I mean, also like a tuner. And then that's pretty much going to be it. I think at that point, without making great compromises, there's not going to be much else I can do to this bike. So, and already it's been a huge difference. I mean, if this is as good as it gets, I'm pretty pleased with it. Oh, one last thing that I but I'm going to definitely do is lower it a bit. I don't know by how much. Really, if I can get like an inch lower, that would be great. Nothing crazy, because I'm not very tall. I have like a 30-inch inseam. I'm 5'7", but I got legs like I'm 5'5". I mean, I got short legs, and I have a hard time touching the ground on this thing sometimes. And that's even with the reduced reach seat. So I think lowering it a bit will definitely help. It should also help on the street. So better tires, stiffer suspension, lower center of gravity. That should make it better on the interstate. But I don't know. But that's all I got for you now. Thanks for watching.